Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And this week, we're heading on over to my playlist and listening to some smooth R&B
Damn
here
right.
with my buddy Mike Hilty. Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Shane, always a pleasure. Thank you for indulging me in this R&B journey that we're about to go on.
So, to give a little bit of background, I know Mike is a huge R&B fan from one of his podcasts. If you would like to shamelessly plug.
Of course. So, one of my podcasts is called Mix CD, where we make 80-minute playlists of just random themes and topics. And, we have a guest come on and we make the list and then we just talk about them. So, check that out wherever you get your podcast.
There you go. And here on my playlist, I restrict people to 10 songs. So no matter how long or short they are. But
Mhm.
yes, my background with R&B is much more like older
Mhm.
R&B. So like I'm a big fan of, like Marvin Gaye, Barry White, and Stevie Wonder and James Brown and that kind of stuff. I do enjoy that funk and blues, and I'm a big fan of blues music, and obviously had evolved, and I feel like R&B became very specific in like the 80s and especially into the 90s R&B, which I know you are a fan of.
I am very
Um
much a fan of 90s R&B. What can
yep.
I say?
But let's get this journey started with your first song, Versace on the Floor by Bruno Mars.
It feels kind of weird because this is among one of the newer songs on my
Yes.
list, but it feels like a throwback to
Yes.
these 90s R&B songs.
Mhm.
And even Bruno Mars himself has even admitted, yeah, that was the feel and the vibe that I was looking to go for. And it works and it
Mhm.
slaps for me. Look, I love a lot of what Bruno Mars brings to the table with his music.
Mhm.
And it was hard to kind of narrow it down, but the thing that narrowed it down for me with Versace on the floor was also the music video because Zendaya's in the music video and
Oh.
she's comically taller than Bruno Mars, but it's
She does like
still
to be comically taller than the men that she's in
that is
stuff
ve-
with, right?
that is very true. And I don't know, just you can't get much smoother than Bruno Mars.
I really do like Bruno Mars. I am a big fan of Uptown Funk.
Hmm.
And which was my mom's ringtone, oddly enough.
Nice,
I don't think
nice.
um which song's a lot of fun. And what's the name of it? That new song that he did with Lady Gaga.
Oh, Die with
Really
a Smile. Yeah, love that song.
love that song. The two of them together are great. But yes, that was immediately where I'm like, oh, this is Bruno Mars. This is going to be a little bit more modern. And then it was just like, this is the 90s. This is 90s
Yep, yep.
R&B right here.
We do go back to the 90s for a good chunk of my list.
And there's a bit of hinges of
Mhm,
some modern flair to it in terms of some of the musicality of it.
mhm.
But generally, like the vocals, the lyrics, getting that Versace on the floor, it's just a vibe. It's an
It is
energy.
it is definitely a vibe. A consistent theme with, sexy is a consistent theme throughout a good chunk
Consistent
of this.
theme of R&B from this list. We are down to clown. Um, so which definitely it's like, I wonder why the Versace's on the floor. We know why the
Uh-huh.
Versace's on the
Yeah,
floor.
you know.
But yes, this was I love Bruno Mars. He has a great voice, really fit the vibe. He would have fit it perfectly in like the 90s R&B scene.
Mhm.
Next up, we have Blackstreet, and it's Don't Leave Me.
So this is their lesser known song. They're more of their ballad song. I love No Diggity. I think everybody would know No Diggity, over this one, but I love this one just as much. It kind of fit with my vibe a little bit more with this. Plus, also, Blackstreet is. is a group that it reminds me of my uncle Dave, who passed away from cancer not too long ago. I would remember going to visit him in California when he had one of those Discmen that you plug into like a tape deck at in a truck, and then just listening to that in Montel Jordan. So, you know, a lot of the stuff on this list kind of reminds me of him, and it's one of the reasons why I love R&B so much.
Yeah, this definitely was that like 90s style ballad R&B
Mhm.
where it's just like this whole group of dudes just want to, you know, make love to some ladies.
Oh,
And
we'll get to that one a little bit later. Don't you worry.
but no, this is a fun one. This next one really hit me, and it's Try Again by Aaliyah. And this one took me back.
Yep.
Like this started playing, I'm like, damn, I remember this song. And Aaliyah was the one that was like in Queen of the Damned
Yep.
and tragically
Passed away. Yeah.
passed away. But like she had a great voice. This song just has that great vibe and it's like instantly memorable.
So some of my favorite Aaliyah songs, they come from movies. And the first one that I was considering is Are You That Somebody from Dr. Dolittle. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And even this one, Try Again, I believe it was on the Romeo Must Die soundtrack. And
Interesting.
it's one that I just really like because it's you could really hear like the beat and the bass a whole
Mhm.
lot on this. And it's, I don't know, just Aaliyah was somebody that was just taken way too soon from us. She had a really bright future, and it sucks. That's how life works
Yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, she was great. This song is really good. It fits in just a lot of different vibes that you're looking for. If you're looking for something where you're you're looking for something to just pump you up, this is a good one. If you're looking for something, when you're at the bottom and you're just like, God, I need to dust
Bring
myself
me
off and
up.
try again. Yeah.
That one definitely hit. And I had definitely listened to that one before.
Yeah.
Next up is One Two Step by
Mhm.
Ciara and Missy Elliott.
Sierra Wilson. Yeah. So, um, yeah, this one just it reminds me of high school. This was a song that you put this on the radio and you just automatically automatic supersonic. Yeah, I see what I did there. But
Mhm.
it just takes me back to high school and just listening to this on the radio. You know, conventional FM radio where you had to listen to commercials and you didn't just get to curate a list of whatever you
Mhm.
wanted to listen to. So it reminds me of high school, and also a lot of these songs, especially later on, are ways that I could like incorporate two artists because I think Missy Elliott
Mhm.
is just fantastic. I love Missy Elliott stuff too.
Missy Elliott, Lady Marmalade. Yo, which that song, that was a moment.
That was definitely a time.
Yep. Just from the Moulin Rouge soundtrack. But like this one, this had a very different vibe
Mhm.
than a lot of the songs on here. And I appreciated the different kind of vibe shaking it up. But here is the 90s R&B. I'll make love to you. And that is Boys to Men.
Oh man, I chalk this up to these are songs as a kid that you should not have been singing
It's
as
funny because my wife also was a big fan of 90s R&B when she was a kid. And it's like, what do you listen to these songs for?
yeah, it's when you're just screaming this at the top of your lungs and you just when you look back and you're like, God, I shouldn't have been listening to that. But Boys to Men is just I think unfortunately they get a little lost in the shuffle when it comes to the 90s boy band because
They started it.
not only did they start it, but they harmonized really well, and there was only four of them as well. There wasn't five, there was four. And
Mm,
not only that, they had so many just great hits
mhm,
during this time. Um, I was recording with someone about music videos recently as
mhm,
well, and this music video just whew, yeah, you felt things for
mhm.
sure. And this one is just an all-timer for me.
This is the blueprint for 90s R&B music for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Boys to Men deserves an award for their name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect. Next up, Sexy Love by Neo.
So the first time I had ever heard this, I was in San Diego back in 2007 with some coworkers and some friends, and this came on during uh, I think we were just out getting lunch, and just everybody was just vibing with it, and it just
Mm,
like I don't know, and this song has just kind of stuck with me a lot because this kind of reminds me a little bit of when Neo wasn't such an asshole about stuff and he actually just like cared about his music. So I really like this song a lot. It's got a lot of innuendo in it and I guess maybe I do enjoy that a lot in my
mm.
music, but this one is just more than all the other songs. It's the one that hits you over the head the hardest.
Usually I get my innuendos from AC/DC,
For sure.
like the song Honey Roll, where they have a
Mm.
line that says, Honey Roll over, let us on top.
Mm, mm.
Hmm.
I wonder
We
what that
know.
means. Yeah,
Songs
we
like
know,
Big Balls, which
naturally.
totally is not about those kind of balls.
No, of course not.
Their ballrooms are always bouncing from the left to the right. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Sexy Love, which,
Right.
like, this is very explicitly, like, obviously supposed to be capturing that kind of vibe.
Mhm.
And this had a little bit more of like a oomph instead of like that super smooth
Mhm.
kind of R&B, which I think the next one definitely has like a more like up tempo kind of feel to it. Want to Want Me by Jason Derulo,
Jason
who
Derulo.
who performed at Rider University when I was a freshman.
How was that?
I didn't go. I didn't know who Jason Derulo was.
Oh, that's too bad.
And then next year was Lupe Fiasco, and I knew less of who Lupe Fiasco was.
Really? Lupe Fiasco came to my my high or college as well. Uh,
There you go. Which was funny because like I think it was like 7 years before I went to Rider, they had Jason Mraz.
Jason Mraz came to my college as
My
well.
God,
You must be
they all do the same thing.
You must be shopping from the same catalog as me. And I remember Jason Mraz when he came to my college, his opening act was a magician. Like, dude, no,
So
just
you know
no.
what? So you know what the college in New Jersey got?
What's that?
Paramore. I'm like, I'd rather go to that one. At least when I was a freshman in college, I knew who Paramore was.
No,
Mostly
right.
because my brother had a humongous crush on Haley Williams.
How can you
Um,
not?
how could you not?
Mhm.
Um, I did not have a humongous crush on Jason Derulo, especially not after Cats.
Oh boy.
Oh
Cats
boy!
Cats was a disaster. His
But
music his
Want to
music
Want
though,
Me.
his music though is it's so it's so bouncy and
Mm,
just it's very much like club music, something that you could dance to. I play Jason Derulo a lot more than I probably should at trivia, which I know probably the people at trivia hate how much Jason Derulo I play, but I can't help it. I
Hey,
just
if I ran a trivia, they would be listening to Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel to start every single week.
there is nothing wrong with that. You do you, Shane. You do
There
you.
you go. I would like to now read this next song in the whitest possible voice that I have. Buy You a Drank,
Hmm.
Shawty Snappin'
Yep.
by T-Pain and Young Jock.
This is another one. It reminds me of summer of 2007.
Mhm,
Um, so I was working at a leadership development conference in
mhm.
Washington, D.C. Well, we started in Washington, D.C., then we did San Diego, and then we did Palo Alto. So this song and Umbrella, those were the two songs of the
Ella,
summer.
Ella, and
A,
a.
A.
Yep.
But this song, whenever it came on, the bus driver would just crank it, and we would be just driving around the DC monuments with a bunch of high school kids singing "Buy You a Drink." And no, it's grossly inappropriate, but
But
it's just,
what if it was a Yahoo, like a Yoo-hoo soda,
sure,
right?
sure.
Well,
I'm
because
not,
you know Yoo-hoo is not chocolate milk;
it's chocolate drink.
it is a chocolate drink.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. But this one is just I generally do not like T-Pain's music, but
Mhm.
this one just struck a chord for me. The only other time that I like T-Pain is when he's a featured artist or when he's doing stuff with the Lonely Island. That's it.
Nice. I don't know if I was really getting into like the T-Pain trappings of this. Um, but like overall, I thought there's like it grabbed my attention. It had an interesting energy about it. But
Mhm.
it was an interesting like is that like auto tune thing
Oh
coming
yeah.
in with
Yeah,
like the
that's
coming in
T-Pain.
being like T-Pain?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just like
that's T-Pain's whole shtick is everything is auto-tuned.
and I feel like the only person that should be able to say their name that many times in a song is Bo Diddley. Um, who names all of the songs after himself. So that
Mhm.
Bo Diddley beat. But next up, we have One Step at a Time from Jordin Sparks.
This is just a guilty pleasure song.
It's a sweet little song.
It's a sweet little song. Yeah. Jordan Sparks is just one of those many American Idol runners up or just like
Yep.
non-first place winners that ended up having a pretty decent career beyond, being on American Idol. And this there's a couple songs out there that I like from Jordan Sparks. Plus also my original draft of this was just all R&B dudes. That's it. And I was like, no, I got to shake this up a little bit and add
Well,
add
I'm
more
glad you did
women.
for the last one, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, well, because with the last one in particular, um, yeah, I just that was another two for one situation. But
Yep.
um, with one step at a time, I don't know, just that song just makes me happy, and it's got a good message to it, and it's just something that I really like.
Absolutely. Now the question is Chris Daughtry arguably one of the most successful non-winners of American Idol?
Yes, I would say that. And also, just ironically enough, I was talking about Chris Daughtry earlier with somebody because I was telling them how I've actually seen Chris Daughtry in concert. And by concert, I mean it's during COVID, and the place that I was working at, they they were having like a partner conference, and all of us in the Midwest couldn't attend because again, COVID, but like anybody local could attend.
Mhm.
They commissioned Chris Daughtry to play a session for us, but it wasn't a concert. It was just poor him and like a couple other people just playing in a studio, and they just live streamed it for people. And I felt awful for him because, like, good for you, man. And you don't realize how many Chris Daughtry songs you like until you hear them all in succession, and you're like, oh man,
He has
I
one of my
actually,
favorite cover songs, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart, him and Lizzie Hale.
Really? That sounds awesome.
Yes, check it out.
Nice.
Bonus recommendations, not having anything to do with R&B. But the last one here, If I Ain't Got You from Alicia Keys and USHER.
Yeah.
Um, which I love Alicia Keys. She is gorgeous. She's extremely talented, and I
Mhm.
love her voice. And this was probably my favorite one on this whole entire list.
Yeah.
So,
So Alicia Keys and Usher did a song. It's called My Boo together. This is a lesser known version that does feature Usher in this. And also this this song kind of just again, it's early or it's like in the 2000s, but this just reminds me of like those 90s songs where you're just longing for somebody in some way. And um man, Alicia Keys and Usher, their voices just blend together so perfectly. I had my original draft of this could have been 10 Usher songs. Like it just could have been because I've been
yeah.
following I've maybe I'll have to come back for that, but there's so many songs by Usher that I just really like and really enjoy, and then not just the ones that are just played on the radio. There's a couple even that are like, oh, this is side B or this is like lesser known. But I wanted to include Usher in there, and this was the best way to do it. And in my personal opinion, I love this song. I loved with Alicia Keys when she does it by herself as well
Mhm.
because you know, she's got a unique style because she's playing the piano as
Yeah.
well. So the piano intro to this is
And she
just so
noodles like a
good.
pro.
hmm Yeah. And she's got just that voice, it just, it's transcendent. I love it.
She was one of my favorite artists of this era and also one of my favorite crushes.
hmm
So there you go. Because
Yeah, for sure.
Alicia Keys.
Because Alicia
But
Keys.
this is very interesting because outside of my yearly my playlist where I go over my top 10 songs that I listen to from the year, I've done a handful of these segments. And it's funny because my friend Matt has done multiple rap ones and now has some R&B. We are spicing things up here on Wasteland Talks and spicing up my listening habits.
Damn right.
Um, because like most of the R&B and stuff like that I listen to is at least 50 years old. Um, so I listen to other things too. Honestly, probably the biggest surprise for most people of what I listen to that is modern is I listen to a lot of female rappers.
Hmm. Who's your favorite?
This
Go
is a
ahead.
tough one.
It's
It's
a safe
definitely
space.
well, no, I'm not embarrassed about it. It's actually a tough decision between because like I love how hilarious Cardi B is,
hmm
and also I love Megan the Stallion.
I love Megan the Stallion as well. Do you say Megan the Stallion or Megan the Stallion?
I was saying Megan the Stallion, but then I heard people say the Stallion. I guess it's just an an aesthetic thing.
Oh,
But I did love her in Dix the Musical, where she sings the best song in the movie, which is Out Alpha the Alphas. She has straight up mommy energy.
for sure. I agree with that.
Mhm. I do love Doja Cat too, which is so funny because I first heard of Doja Cat because of the show Dave.
That
That one
episode,
episode where he
that
blew it.
that episode is fantastic, but of course he blew it because he's Dave
Dave.
and he's going to blow it with Doja Cat. Of course he is. It's hilarious the way he does it, but it's
It
ridiculous.
frustrated me so much because he had a chance and he self imploded.
But
It's just
that's
like,
Dave.
dude, relax.
But that's Dave in a
Yep.
nutshell, though. He
Yep.
self-implodes about everything.
Everything. But no, I do love Doja Cat. And she has a very interesting energy about her.
Mhm.
Um, she's also very funny
Yeah.
too. So, but that is a wrap here on my playlist here on Wasteland Talks. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on and giving some smooth R&B.
Of course, I'm happy to continue to spread the word. Sure, why not?
That's the word for sure. But thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.